What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Blondes Have More Fun, the podcast where nothing is off limits. All right.
Let's just hop right into it.
Yeah. I feel like we should start with a catch up because one, we haven't seen each other in
honestly,
I feel like
3
weeks. Yeah,
like 3 weeks,
close to a month. And we both have new jobs. We were both new jobs. Did you do something? I feel like you went somewhere.
I didn't go anywhere, but I had the girls visit me.
Yes,
which I have a funny story on that.
Awesome. So let's do a catch up.
All right.
You go first.
Okay. Well, yeah. Starting with my week's been good. So, like Janelle said, I started a new job. So I left my high-end retail job to now be into serving, and so I'm just adjusting. The hours is such an adjustment. Now I'm working till midnight, 12:30. I get home at 3. It's
and you're getting home at 9 the latest, I feel.
Before job. 9. So it's definitely an adjustment, but the money is way better, so it's okay. It's worth it. But
yeah, no, serving, I feel like you get tired of it, but that's why I had to take a break. I stopped serving for, I think, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
I stopped serving because I was, with COVID and just, working open to closes and dealing with just, adult children.
Seriously.
You get so tired of it, but then when you go back, the money is so good.
Yeah.
Now I'm at Parlor, and, the money is so good, especially compared to fucking where I was before.
The previous place. Yeah. Like you said though, I hate how people think that serving is an easy job, because it's not. It's still a customer service job, and you're talking to so many people throughout the day. That in itself is exhausting, but you're just running around.
Yeah, exactly. And the people you deal with too,
yeah.
I feel like any job, doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna deal with fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And serving is a huge one. A girl I work with the other day, it was on Sunday, and this girl was oh, all you do is clean tables for a living, and she didn't tip and was just being such a fucking bitch. And
wait, this was a customer?
A customer to a girl that I work with. I was I would have fucking lost it if that if she said that to me. And people who are like that, they want to go out and spend money, but it's then you make fun of the people who are serving you. But if we weren't here, then who the fuck would go and serve you? And you wouldn't be at a bougie little place getting bottle service.
Yeah, so bitch,
if you're one of those people,
put your money where your mouth is.
But yeah, so we both started new jobs. I'm still in the restaurant, but I just switched bars because I was at a little dive bar before. Now I'm at a more, I feel it's a mid-ground. It's not a high-end fancy restaurant, but it's not $6.99 food, and people are 16-year-olds coming in and not tipping. People are going in, they got money, they're there to spend, they're there to have a good time.
Little private parties sometimes.
Yeah, we do bottle service. Yeah, we still do bottle service, but it's not club where it's just constant bottle service and a bunch of douchebags that think they're cool because they ordered a bottle of Grey Goose. That's one thing I never understood with bottle service. I'm why don't you need a fucking light to bring a bottle out? I can't just bring the bottle. I never, and the times that I've done bottle service, the people aren't even paying attention.
No,
they're I'm literally this at the table, and nobody's looking. I'm this, I feel like a fool right now. No one gives a fuck. They just want their bottle, or some people are videotaping and that's what they want from the bottle, but I don't know. But no.
Could you imagine ordering a bottle for $400 a minimum just to get the video?
Oh my
God. The video.
People do that. It's insane. It's insane. And then they don't tip.
Yeah.
But grats come on bottles. Thank God. But no, this place is way better. And just even when I started, it's just the difference between my last job and here, and how professional it is, and it's just a legit well-ran restaurant, which I was not used to because I just worked at a place for 4.5 years that was a fucking shit show. So that.
Yeah.
And then you had the girls visit.
I had the girls visit, which was super fun. So I had some friends. One of the girls was from Grand Prairie. She flew out to Kelowna. I was supposed to go, but with the transition to my new job, it just didn't really work out. So they were sweet enough to come drive down and visit. So yeah, I know. We went to White Rock, and I took these girls to a little dispensary. It's super cheap. It's because it's on native land. And anyways, so we got edibles, which I just don't do edibles, which is a story for another time. But I ate a brownie, and you Google White Rock Pier. It's the longest pier in Canada. Anyway, so we walked out there. By the time we got to the very end of the pier, and walked back, I literally was just like so baked. I was like marching in place. Like the pier wasn't ending. Like I literally was like, are you guys feeling this? Like, do you guys like, well, just one of the girls, because
nobody's moving.
Yeah, literally. Like our one friend, she's pregnant. She was
so
rude.
she was not
She
doing
was just like,
edibles.
you girls are crazy. But yeah, I was honestly like, it was just not ending. And I was like, I feel so fucked up. Like this is a trip. Like it was just like,
edibles are way
tunnel
different
vision,
than
yeah.
like smoking a joint.
Well, we smoked weed too, so it was like double.
It's like even worse.
Yeah.
Edibles fuck me up. Like I've only had a couple where I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. But most of the time I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But then a joint, I'm just like, it's so weird
chill.
how it's different. Like it's way more chill.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna die with joints, but that's just because I smoke like 3 of them.
Yeah. Honestly, it just the edible, it kicks in. Like you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm baked. Like I'm fucked.
I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Speaking of fucked up, houseboat.
Yes.
So
yes.
I just went on a houseboat trip with like a bunch of friends that I grew up with. For I feel like most of them, there's about like 10 of us that have known each other for like since grade 2 or 3, and then some friends that joined in like through high school and stuff like that. But it was so much fun. Also 4 days max. 4 days was max. Like the last day we were all like, no one was talking to each other.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like a mix of hungover and like coming down, and oh my god. But like the first day, it was the first couple days so fun. The first night we went to like parked at this party beach, and there wasn't too many boats there actually, but we had like a couple girls from another boat come on ours.
That's
and
fun.
some people were trying to go on another boat that was like a bunch of guys, but I guess that they were on like a bunch of Molly, and so they didn't want anyone on their boat. And so like the guys were trying to go over, and they're like, no, you can't be on our boat. And then these girls just like showed up on ours.
Yeah, they're like, we want to get away from these guys.
Yeah, and so we were just like playing some drinking games and stuff like that. But the first night I feel like we drank, but it was pretty chill. Second night, we were all just so stoned or on mushrooms like the whole day, and that was fucking hilarious. And then the third day was like the night where everyone was like, okay, we're getting fucked up tonight. And so my one friend Bryn, she made this sick drinking game like by hand. She even laminated it. Like it was so fucking fun.
I've seen that.
And one of the second like ones that I rolled on was Ride the Bus, which I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
And so it's like where someone is holding a deck of cards and they're like, okay, black or red, and then you say red, and if it comes up black, you have to drink and start over. And by the end of it, you have to guess like what color it is, the suit, if it's high or low, all this stuff. And each time, if you get it wrong, you have to start over. And so I kept getting it wrong. I almost went through the whole freaking deck of cards. And it's supposed to be a shot every time, but we made jungle juice, and so we were all drinking like this super strong jungle juice. So we were just doing a sip. But everyone was fucked because we're drinking, like, there was probably 4 bottles of vodka, like, there's tequila in there, it was just, like, a mix of everything, and it was so fucking strong, and so the first game 1, like, everyone was fucked.
I'm like, how do you even get past that square?
Oh my god, like,
what?
It was, I ended up getting past it, but I almost went through the whole deck of cards.
That's
and Matthew just, like, kept going, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Like, stop, I want to get off the bus.
Yeah, and but it was just so much fun. Oh my god. And like that night we had like all of our shirts made with like our group chat nicknames. So cool. Mine was One Hoot Wonder because I used to get so fucking stoned off of like one little hoot, and it's just never changed. But no, some of the nicknames, the lady who made our shirts was probably like, what the fuck? Because like Jade is this cock goblin.
Yeah.
Like that's like she's probably like, what the hell is going on? But it was so much fun. At one point, the last day, we thought our boat was sinking.
Oh my god, really?
Because, so there's like 2 pontoons on a houseboat, and then like the middle of the boat is like hollow, and then it's just like the pontoons. And the night before, we beached at this one spot, and the rocks were like, they're pretty big.
Yeah.
And so we didn't think anything of it, but then that morning, like the boat was kind of like this, and then by like 4 o'clock, it was literally like this. And we're all like, okay, this is not right. Like, we think something's wrong. And so we're all trying to think of, like, reasons this could be happening. And then finally, Hunter goes and looks in the front of the boat and goes, no, I see a crack. There's a crack. And so nobody else really seemed to care. And I was fucking stressed.
I would have been, like,
I was just like, why does no one care? I'm like, we need to start moving stuff to this side of the boat. Like, why is, like, Jada was FaceTiming Ellie, like, Colin's still driving, like, literally no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does nobody care?
Like, we're
the
going
boat
down.
is sinking. We still have a full day of floating and have to spend one more night. And so, like, when you dock the boat on the beach, only the front part is out of the water. So, like, if it's sinking, like, the whole back is still gonna go in the water. And so I'm like, I'm sleeping with a life jacket on the top floor. I was so stressed out. And then it ended up, we radioed in, and it was because the bathroom that everyone shares is on one side of the boat. So the shower water, all the toilets, everything. So it's the last day, have less gas, which is on the other side. So the gas is more empty, and the fucking water tanks are full, but only on one side. So it was literally just because the shitters were full and everyone was showering and going to the bathroom on one side, and then the gas was lower. So we weren't sinking. No one really cared but me. I was like, I'm gonna call my dad to like come and pick us up. Like, we gotta get out of here because I was so fucking stressed out. But it was okay.
Did they mention anything like that in your, like,
No.
before you got onto the boat?
That's what I said. I was like, they should say, because Bryn texted her friend who goes houseboating all the time, and she's like, oh yeah, by the end of the trip, every time I've gone, it's been like that.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would be like, oh,
Mention
just a heads up, if you only use one side, because there's bathrooms on both sides, but those are in people's rooms, so not everyone's using them, and then the shared bathrooms on one, like you would think they'd say, just so you know, by the last day, your boat might be a little
what happens
lopsided.
if you're, like, gone for a week? Like,
That's what I mean. A week, like we would have been under. I just like, I don't know.
So funny.
They didn't tell anybody, and so we radioed it in. It was cutting in and out, and so we heard like 3 words from Buddy on the radio, and it was gas tank, sewage, and left side. And we're like, well, that gave us nothing. That gave us absolutely nothing.
Already know that.
That just did nothing for us.
That's actually so funny because the girls stayed at my house the day that they came and visited, and Tatiana was telling us like last year how she went houseboating, and she's like, I saved everybody, like literally towards the end our houseboat was like this, and that makes sense now.
But it was really good. It was a good trip. We've had a plan since, it's been over a year since we had a plan, because we wanted to go last summer.
Right.
And we tried to book in April or May, and they were already booked. Like, people book houseboats a year in advance.
Yeah.
And so we finally made it out of the group chat, and we got on the houseboat. It was a good time, but it was exhausting.
Yeah.
But should we move into our first topic?
Yes. First topic, super exciting.
We thought we'd go with something a little spicy for the first one.
Yes.
We're gonna do sex talk.
Sex talk. Everybody loves sex talk.
Everyone loves sex. Everyone loves sex talk.
Like, if you're not having sex, your life's boring. Like, you just...
Unless you're, like, really... If you're young.
I guess
if you're young, don't watch this.
Yeah, oh my god. But, I mean, and also, I guess there's people that, like, save themselves, which...
I could never.
I could never. Like, you know what I mean? How would you not know? Like, there's certain, you know, obviously I'm sure there's been like a hookup that you've had and you're like, never again, like block, delete, like.
Yeah, but that's why you need to do those, because imagine, like, people who, I'm not judging you, I'm just saying I could never do it, because people
I'm not judging either.
Move in with somebody after they get married and have sex with someone after they get married, it's not like you're bound for life, you can get a divorce, but obviously when you get married, you're not thinking about getting a divorce, but like, you learn so much about people when you live together, when you start traveling, when you're having sex. Like, what if you get married and then you have sex for the first time and you absolutely hate it and realize you don't have that type of chemistry at all, or you start living together and they're like the nastiest fucking person you've ever met and you just start hating them. Living with someone can literally make you hate them.
Yeah, that's why, like, I've never wanted a roommate. I've said it multiple times. Like, I live with my boyfriend now, but he, like, knows my expectations. He, like, knows my way. I feel like we're both clean people and like organized people, so it works. But like, I couldn't ever imagine, like, we could live together. Like, we totally could, but imagine if we tried and then you like ruin a friendship over it. Like, I've heard
my dad said that too, and like, so many people will live together and then it's just, and then they won't be friends
horribly,
or won't talk for like 2 years or something, because you're just like
how bad can it really be?
But
back on track
to sex. and you crazy people that wait.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should start with losing our virginity because
That's like where it
that's where it started. That's where the
it all
sex talk started. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I think I was in grade 9 or like the summer of going into grade 9.
Yeah.
Anyways, so.
And so how old were we in grade 9? 15? 15,
I
right?
think like 15, 17, 18. Yeah, like 15.
Because I feel like
Well,
everyone
I
gets
have
their
late
driver's license in grade 10, which is like 16.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel
yeah.
like 15, 16.
I think it was like 15, 16. I don't know. That sounds so young now that I think about
I
it.
was
But
15.
okay, that makes me feel better. Anyways, so I remember, so this kind of gets a little tricky. So the very first time I stayed home from school because I was sick. I walked to this guy's house. My parents both are working away at their like day jobs. Walked to his house. It happens. It was like nothing special. Like I think we hooked up maybe one more time, but yeah, we don't ever talk. Like he was much older. Anyways, so yeah, that was that. Another guy thinks that he also took my virginity. So there's two guys out there that think they took my virginity. I've never like shared with one another like, oh, you know, like it was the way that it happened. Anyway, so I was at a Storms game. My dad was there. I did not drive at this time. I think, yeah, it was like around probably like, I don't know, a month or two like in between. Anyways, we had been talking for a little while and I left a Storms game. We like drove to his house. It happened, like nobody even knew I was gone. I think it was like maybe in an intermission and like came back to the hockey game and like honestly we never talked again. Like I've never spoken to him since. Like,
wait, did you meet him at the hockey game?
No. We went to school together.
Oh,
we went to school together. It was when I switched to PWA. So yeah, it was like the hockey game intermission. We like did our thing, went back, same thing. It was like nothing special. Both time like lights were off. Like it was super weird. And these guys were older than me, and so it was like nothing to write home about. And I ended up
honestly, if they were older than you, it should have been something to write home about.
I know. And it was like, you know, when you're younger, you kind of like, you hear things or you see things on TV and it's like you expect it in your mind to be like some way. Like I didn't expect it to be like some fairy tale or anything, like by any means. But yeah, it was just like nothing exciting. Like I was like, oh, that's it. Like it was nothing, yeah. And so
very lackluster, I feel.
Yeah, I ended up getting into like a serious relationship in grade 10, and like honestly I wish that that's how I had lost my virginity, and to this day no more going further, but that's how my mom thinks I lost my virginity. And so,
hi,
like,
Mom.
Hey Mom, when we broke up, she was like comforting me like, honey, you know, it obviously hurts 10 times more because this is the person that took your virginity, blah blah blah. And honestly, like I think it was like I was lying to myself because I had honestly almost believed that he like did take my virginity. Like everyone else before him was like kind of like written off, you know, but that's how I lost my virginity.
So Jordana lost her virginity
twice.
3 times.
Yeah, not twice.
She lost her virginity 3 times.
But to be fair, my boyfriend in grade 10, like my high school boyfriend, he knew that I wasn't a virgin. Like he knew.
I just love that there's 2 guys that think they look.
I know. So, and I honestly, I don't ever think that they would watch this podcast. So they can just go on thinking like,
that they did.
And I don't even think they know each other, so it's like they would never have talked, never have known.
Yeah, and I feel like if you knew that they would, then it would have been like, it would have
more
been different.
awkward. Yeah.
I need names when this is over. Oh my gosh, so mine is a funny story because I was 15, so it was my first boyfriend who was older than me. Was he 3 years older than me? 15. Yeah, he was 18 and I was 15 when we first started dating. So yeah, I was in grade 10 and he was out of high school. And so the one night, it was winter time, I was in a full leg brace.
What?
And I snuck out of my mom's house, and oh my gosh, she's gonna watch this and like,
sorry, Wanda.
Sorry. So they used to, like the bottom window used to not have a screen on it, but also it was winter time, and now that I think about it, I remember, I remember her thinking that somebody was looking in the backyard looking at windows, but it was literally me leaving the house. And so I climb out of the basement. We also have 2 dogs at my mom's, so I'm like trying to be so quiet so that like no dogs are making sounds because I have to go all the way downstairs. And the guy that I was seeing, he has like this loud fucking diesel truck and like just like rapping everywhere. So I'm like, okay, you have to park down the street, turn off your truck. And so I get through the window, I take my leg brace off because I have to hop the fence because the snow's too high for me to open the gate, which I didn't think about.
Throws leg brace over.
Throws it over the fence, climbs the fence, hops down, puts it back on. I'm like hobbling down the street. I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. Dang. And he had one of his friends there. And at first, so we just like, they smoked weed and then we dropped his friend off and then we went and parked in a school parking lot. And like, I didn't even know that it was gonna happen, but we like started making out and then it ended up being in the front seat because I couldn't get into the back seat because I had a leg brace on and it was from like here to here. So my leg is just straight. And so my one pant leg is off and the other leg is just like sticking straight up. And like 1 minute in, he's like, can I take this condom off? And whips it out the window into the school parking lot. I'm like, what? And I'm just like, oh my God, what is happening? And so honestly for me, because like you said, with like movies and everything like that, you think that it's gonna be like either this like crazy special moment or it's gonna be like a super painful thing. Literally, it like honestly didn't even really hurt, and it was enjoyable, I guess, but it was just like my first time, so I didn't really have anything to compare it to. But then yeah, he just like dropped me off at my mom's, and it actually really sucked. And I kind of hope he is watching this so that he knows that I know this.
Watching this.
Oh, yeah.
We know.
But the next day I come to school and my like one of my best friends at the time, she comes up to me and she's like, you cannot have sex with him. And I was like, why? Also, it's bad because we had only been dating for like literally a week. Or not even. I think it was like 4 days. And she comes up to me and she's like, you cannot have sex with him. And I was like, why? She said, because he made a bet with his friends to see how fast he could sleep with you. And I was just like, well, that sucks because I had sex with him last night. And I didn't really care. And I never brought it up to him because I was just like, we just started dating. Like, I was super stoked on him. And I was like, whatever. But, yeah.
I feel like guys in high school were so mean.
And he was out of high school, but like, but it's just like, what the fuck? And then it like made sense because we were like literally like 40s in.
Okay, and the fact that he was out of high school and that was his behavior, like, that's like not acceptable.
I know.
Like, what?
Yeah. And so that was mine. But I just think it's so funny because, like, literally I can't even take my pants all the way off because I have this stupid thing on my leg.
I, like, picture, like, a dog that has, like, a cast. You know what I mean? Like, their leg just, like, doesn't move. Like,
and then my mom the next day, she's like, I think someone was, like, looking in the windows of the house and stuff because there was footprints in the snow up to the window. And I was like, oh, like, that's so creepy. But it was literally me. It was me fucking leaving the house. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, so that was mine. So it is funny. It's memorable, which honestly, I feel like that's better than, like, I don't know. I like that it's a funny story.
I feel like I'm like, who has, like, the perfect first time? You know what I mean? Like, nobody.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't plan it. Like, it's just like, if you plan it, that's when it goes wrong, is because you're like, okay, we're gonna meet here and do this.
And
like,
all the high expectations. Like, I don't know. I didn't even know what to expect, honestly. Like, yeah, I wish things were a little bit different, but then again, it's like, I don't know, I guess when I did get into a serious relationship, I was like already a little bit more comfortable with like sex and just like myself. And so, I mean, I don't know, everything happens for a reason. So
exactly.
I don't know, but
yeah, it's so fucking funny. Oh my God. Okay, funny sex stories, which I just told one, but I do.
I feel like there's just one that really like comes to mind, and
one is good enough.
One is good enough because this is probably a little like TMI, but that's what we're here for. So, anyway, so you know, fast forward a few years. Okay, now sex, like I'm super comfortable with it. I'm like getting, you know, a little toy collection, spice things up. You know, I'm like in a relationship now where it's like we have fun, we like experiment, and like we're comfortable with each other. So anyways, I remember like I was out for drinks with like a girlfriend, and I think I had already bought the butt plug. Hadn't used it yet though, and she was like, oh my God, only get this certain kind, the one that has like you know, the little like handles on the sides. Like, if not, I'm telling you right now, like it will get sucked up you. And I was like, girl, you're fucked. Like, no, that would never happen. Like, that would never happen.
Oh
like,
my
I just
God.
couldn't even imagine that happening. Like, no, like, you know, like, no. Anyways, it happened. Like, it happened. And I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I think it was maybe that same night because I texted her and I was like, I cannot believe, you'll never believe, like, this just happened to me. And
After
so
you said it.
the butt plug was so far up my a-hole that my boyfriend was fishing. Like, he was.
Why do we have the same funny story?
I know, literally. And I just, so honestly, like, I don't think I've ever used it again, which is so disappointing because it's like this cute little pink, like, glow in the dark, like, yeah, so.
You turn the lights off, you're like, let's see if we can see it.
Yeah, like, yeah, right? We're just, like, more intrigued with the fact that it's glow in the dark than, like, the actual main purpose of it. But yeah, like, I don't know, it is funny now, but like in the midst of the moment, I
It's
was just
terrifying.
like, oh my God, like literally I was just
You
like,
think
yeah,
you're gonna
I
have to
was
go to the
like,
hospital.
I can't reach back in behind there. Like, you know, I'm like, my life is like in his hands at this moment. Like, but I don't know, he was like totally calm and collected and he was just like, he knew what to do.
That is so fucking funny because literally my other funny story is like the exact same thing. And it wasn't a butt plug, it was like a little one of those little bullet vibrators.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were like a little drunk and just like having some fun. And I thought it fell out because they put it in my butt. And I was just like looking for it in the bag because it's dark. And he's like, what are you looking for? I was like, the vibrator. And he's like, it's in you. And I was just like, what? It was so far in me, I couldn't even feel it vibrating. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. I'm gonna be that girl sitting in emergency and it's gonna be like, And I'm just like sitting on those fucking hard plastic chairs having to say, oh yeah, there's a freaking vibrator stuck in my ass. And so he literally had to like full on hand fist in my ass. It was so fucking painful. And he straight up said that he was like trying to be calm, but at one point he thought he was not going to be able to get it out. And I was
what do you do in that moment?
You
like,
literally have to go to the hospital and be like, look, you got to help me. And ended up getting it. And yeah, since then, never put that fucking thing in there again.
like, I didn't throw it away. It's still in the drawer.
I still have it, but it's not being used for that.
She's retired.
That's so fucking funny that's the same.
I'm
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
think if I have another funny sex story. Like,
I think I just had the two, and it was my virginity and then that. All right, should we transition into toxic exes or just
Toxic
exes in general? But I feel like our exes are toxic.
Yeah.
And so yes, we have toxic exes. I feel like everyone has at least one toxic ex, and like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but
if you don't yet, you will.
You will, but we're from Grand Prairie where literally either everyone is a fucking drug dealer or just like thinks they're the coolest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
And it just turned into toxic. And also, well, like I was dating someone, it's the same person that like took my virginity, but he was older than me and like wasn't into the best things, and like I don't do drugs. Like I was just like this like fucking 15-year-old who just like 15, 16, like so innocent, first boyfriend, everything. And like I was just like so in love with this guy. So like anything he did, I was just like, and obviously at first when he like told me about like what he did for work and everything, it wasn't just like as soon as he met me. So we had already been dating for a couple months and I was already just like so stoked on him. And so by the time I found out, I didn't care when I should have. And but yeah, just like a crazy fucking.
I mean, like props to him though for like not like bringing it into your life. Like,
oh, it was like the opposite.
Yeah,
like
he hid it from you. Like he tried to protect you from it.
Yeah, and then once I knew, I wasn't like around it. Well, I was around it quite a bit, but like him and his friends, I know my mom, when she found out, she's like, they're gonna try and peer pressure you into doing drugs and all this stuff. And it was the opposite of that. Like he's like, if I find out somebody that I know or like anybody who's giving you drugs, I'll fucking kill them. Like it was like there was never any like peer pressure or anything like that, which is really nice. And like I was protected and that was good, but it was like super toxic. Like just I was getting cheated on and like of course, people would tell me and I wouldn't believe it because I would ask him and he was like, oh, that's so crazy. And like, I'm so dumb because literally one time I even like, this is after someone had told me, I even went on his phone when he was sleeping, and this is when he lived at his mom's house. and he texted his mom saying, "Do not come in my room, I have someone downstairs." And it was when I wasn't there, I was in school, and so I woke him up and I was like, "Who did you have over this morning?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And like, I just let it go, like such a fucking idiot. Like, he obviously had a girl in his fucking room that morning, like he's telling his mom not to come in his room.
Yeah,
Why would
like,
that
you have your buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want you to see my friend Thomas. Like, honestly, it was a fucking chick, and I'm just like this stupid 16-year-old, like, oh, he said no, so it's fine, it's fine, and just like so fucking toxic. Like, he literally slept with everyone I was in the same fucking friends group with. Like, oh my god. Drop me off at dance, goes to a fucking house party or a hot tub party, and literally sleeps with my fucking friend in the hot tub. Well, like, I was just
that's
so toxic, and it was just like, he would break up with me, or he would tell people that we weren't together, and then sleep with them, and then I'd be like, "Oh, you slept with my boyfriend?" And they're like, "Oh no, he said you weren't together." And I'm like,
just
well,
like,
we are. He never told me. And it was just like, he would break up with me, and then I would like beg him to come back, and he would take me back, and just like, it was just like, it was so fucking toxic. It was so bad. And I had to literally, like, when we broke up, I went to Edmonton and like blocked him on everything, and that was like how I like ended it. I was like, we can't. And it was also, I broke up with him, because before, when he was breaking up with me, I was like, I want you back, I want you back.
Yeah.
And so then when I broke up with him, I was like, okay, this is just needs to,
for real,
this needs to fucking go. Also, like, my parents knew about like what he was doing, because my sisters knew who he was, and my dad was like telling me he was gonna call the cops on me and him if we stayed together. So I was like, how am I supposed to even have this relationship, because my parents are like after him, like nobody,
they just don't like approve of it.
And like, that's like one thing, like, I want to be a part of like whoever I'm with, their family.
Same.
And everything like that. And like, I loved his family, and like his family was stoked on me, but my family, my mom, it was okay, but like my dad was like, I will fucking kill this guy. So toxic.
How long are you guys actually together?
I feel like it was like a year and a half, I think we were together. And then my other ex, not toxic at all. We just fought all the time. Like, we just like weren't like meant to be, which whatever. But yeah, he was not
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. He wasn't toxic. But yeah, the first one definitely was. But I feel like it was a good learning, because now I know like the red flags
100%.
and like what to look for.
Yeah.
And it was a good learning relationship. And now it's like, how many years later? Like 7 years later. And like, if I see this person, like, I have no problem seeing this person. I have no problem talking to this person. And because I'm just like, I'm at the point where it's so long in the past, like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
No, it's like, you
know?
can't even hold on to shit like that. And it's like, you don't care. Like, now, times move on, you end up being with different people, you grow as a person, you're in yourself. Like, it's just,
And like, it did. Let me just see where the time's at.
17 minutes.
But yeah, it was a whole learning experience, and I'm happy that I had it, because now it's just, I feel like each relationship I got better, because like my first relationship, I was the crazy, like, who are you talking to? Who is that? Who is that? Like, super jealous, because I was so much younger than him, and I was still going to school every day, and he's out and about living his life, and like, you know what I mean? And like, he can go to the bar and go out, and I can't. And so every night he's going out, and I can't do those things with him. I was always driving him to parties or stuff like that. And so it was always like, I was crazy, and like, who is this? Who's that? And then with my second boyfriend, I was still like a little bit like that. And then now I started like that, but then I had to realize, okay, he's 6 years older than me. Like, he's 30, I'm 23, or he's gonna be 30, and like, he's lived this whole life, he's traveled the world, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to
give him the benefit of the doubt.
Like, everyone, like that, I wasn't around for all of that, he wasn't around for like what I did, and so at first I was like crazy, and if you like talk to a girl and we were out in public going out, and the girls were like, oh, hey, how are you? And come hug him, and like, don't even acknowledge me. I'd be like, oh, who's that? And he would literally straight up be like, oh yeah, like I've slept with that person or whatever, which at first I was like, okay, love the honesty, but I don't want to know, because now we're hanging out with this person and I know you slept with them. But then it's like, I got to a point where I'm like, why do I fucking care? Because now we're together. Like, that was in the past. And so each relationship, I just got more chill, more chill, more chill. And so if I ever have another relationship, man, lucky you, because I'm gonna be so chill.
Yeah, like,
I'm gonna be
cool,
so
fuck
chill.
Yeah, honestly, like, same goes for me. Like, I feel like, yeah, you definitely just, like, learn from relationships and grow from them.
For
But
sure.
my high school relationship ended up being very toxic, and honestly, almost from the get-go. So we met, we hung out a little bit. He asked me out, like, asked me to be his girlfriend, and we were on and off for honestly, like, 5 years. And anyways, so it honestly did start by he caught me talking to someone else that I had like a thing with in the summer previously, and he had lived in Kelowna, and so it was my wrongdoing, and I understand that's where like our trust was like broken from. But yeah, it was just like, then we started going on each other's phones, and same thing, we started physically cheating on each other. And I remember I went on my grad trip, and like I had cheated on him. He was supposed to be there, he wasn't, and it was like I hid it from him for a year. And it's like, I'm not proud of these things now. My current boyfriend now knows all of this, and so it's like, you know, when we first started dating, he was kind of skeptical, like, oh, is this the kind of girl that you are? But like it was an honesty thing. Like, I've been on the receiving and the giving side, and like both suck. Like, it doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
I would never now. Like, it's just, if you don't want to be with someone, don't. But anyways, we started sleeping with other people, and same thing, it was so toxic. I physically fought this girl not once but twice that he had slept with, and like I ended up getting
I witnessed one.
Yeah, I ended up getting 2 assault charges and like having a year of probation. And you know, I had to stand in front of a judge and him be like, you know, you act like a child. It was just like, things like that couldn't happen anymore.
You like made each other crazy.
We made each other so crazy and so toxic. And then like we split up for a full year. He moved away to like better himself. Actually, I broke up with him because he started getting into like the wrong crowd of people. And like, same thing, I was just graduated high school. I went to college like at GPRC, and I started playing like college soccer, and like our lives were just on different paths.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I can't do this anymore. He was living with me and my dad at the time for pretty much like all of high school, the whole time that we were together. And he just started sneaking away and like doing shady stuff. And like, same thing, I'd wake up in the middle of the night and he wouldn't even be there, and like he was doing his thing. He was kind of like, you know, stuck in a hard spot. And so we broke up, and for a full year we didn't talk. And that was when I was begging for him back, and he did not give me the time of day. Like, he had me blocked on everything. There was no way I could reach out to him. And I remember I was kind of in like a self-destructive mode, I guess. Like, I missed him. I knew that I had messed up, and like I wanted him back so bad. And so I was really into partying. And I remember he like messaged me one night and was like, hey, I'm going to be in GP, like, let's get together. And so he picked me up from a party, and I was fucked. Like, I was sloshed, and like he didn't even sleep with me. Like, you know, I just like, I missed everything. And so I woke up in the morning, he was gone, and I was like, fuck, I missed my chance to like mend things with him or like talk to him. And so yeah, we just, after, you know, a little while, like we had hung out once or twice, and same thing, like he almost like got my feelings, like he like messed with my emotions, like would give me kind of,
well, he knew that you wanted to get back.
he would give me like that attention, but then like pull away and like fuck with my mind. And then I decided I was gonna apply to school and like move to her. And so that was like one of the last times we had like ever hung out. And I remember I literally left, I think within like a week or 2, and I slept with him, and I was still naked in his bed, and he was like, oh, I have feelings for someone else. And
really?
It was
like a dress first.
Yeah, like it was like, I was like devastated. I was like, drop me back off at the bar. Like, it was just such a toxic relationship. Like, he was doing drugs and then got sober, and then I was the one doing drugs, and like it was just, we fed the flame in each other, and it was just bad. And now, like, I've moved away. We aren't enemies, but like we don't have any relationship. It was just better left untouched. Like, he's tried to reach out to me, and I think it was like where I was a few years ago, like wanting him back and wanting him, and now it's like I've bettered myself, and he's tried to reach out to me on like a couple different platforms, and like I haven't even acknowledged it. You know, I wish him nothing but the best, but oh my god, how could I even forget? A week before my graduation, I found out he slept with one of my best friends at the time. She was so shysty. I mean, I guess I can get a little bit into this if we like ever talk about like toxic friendships. Yeah. So I was really close with this girl, I don't know, for maybe like a year or so, and like it was just like a weird friendship. Like we didn't go to the same school or anything, but anyways, I just had this gut feeling. Like I woke up one night. Yeah, me too. Still to this day, but honestly, I've like finally like just let it go. Like anyways, I deleted her out of my life. Like she's dead to me, but I woke up one night and he was at a party. They were like posting pictures. They were like all high on Molly. There was like 6 guys and she was the only girl there. And I was like, dude, what? Like, let me come. Like, that's my friend. That's my boyfriend. Like, let's party together. And like, he was like, I don't know, he was too fucked up, like not texting me back. Like she was just like sending snaps. I had no idea where they were. Anyways, they ended up staying the night there. He calls me in the morning, can you please come pick me up? And it's so like still vivid. Like I picked them up. They were standing outside this house and like he kissed me and his breath, like his mouth literally smelled like a vagina. And so I should have known. I should have known at that time. Anyway, she's sitting in the backseat, quiet as fuck. A month or 2 goes on, and I remember this guy messaged me one day, and he was like, "Hey, I have something to tell you," and never ended up telling me. And I was like, "What? What could it be?" And like her phone was broken at the time, and we were getting ready to go to this party, and so she was using my phone. And so for some reason, I was like, let's go on her Facebook because it was on my Safari. And sure enough, she was messaging him and was like, how does so-and-so know? Like, just don't let them say anything. And so she came out of the bathroom and I lost my shit on her. My dad was downstairs and probably was like, what is going on? I wish I fucked this girl up. Like, I wish I did because I was livid. Like, she was my friend. She listened to me cry about him and like, how could you do that? And so, I mean, I could get into way more details, but like I called his mom and was like, listen, I just found this out. Like, I drove to his house without him knowing. I took everything I ever bought for him and I took it all away. Yeah. I was like, you want to cheat on me? You can go back to being the guy you were before. Like, he literally pushed me out of his room. Like, it was just so toxic. Oh my God. Yeah. And so, anyways, fast forward to today. Like, I wish him no bad intentions. Like, I hope he's in a good place. He deserves to be like as happy, as I am. But so long ago.
I did not know that.
It went on for years, like 5 years. Honestly, we met in grade like 10. And all the way till graduation, so yeah, a week before my grad, I found that out. I found out that he had slept with her. And
God. I did not know that.
I literally still get memories to this day on my Facebook. It was like 8 years ago today. I had made a status, literally, as embarrassing as this is, I need a grad date. Like, and I ended up taking one of my really good friends. We're still, friends to this day, and I'm glad because when I look at pictures, it's like not a sad moment. Like,
that's why I didn't go with my boyfriend either at the time.
Yeah, like at that time, I was devastated. I was so sad. Like, everyone was going with their boyfriend or girlfriend, and I wasn't. But looking back now, I'm like, honestly, that was like the right play. Like, things, But yeah, so I don't know. He has tried to reach out to me multiple times, and I know it's when he's like drunk because it's like 3 a.m. Like.
Oh my God.
And it's, I don't know, I just like, I can't give that anymore. I know, I'm like,
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, she was like, I kicked her out of my house, and like my bedroom window like looked onto like the street road, and I was like, I'll fucking kill you.
Jordana's face is pushing against the street. Get out of here!
Literally.
I don't want to see your face in this town ever again.
Literally, and I never saw her again.
Oh my God.
Like, I tried to go to a party that night, and it was like racing through my mind. Like, I remember I had a friend come pick me up. We were at Cole Dendy's party, like way out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and yeah, I was like, I need to go home. Like, it just crushed me, but yeah, it's just
as it should. I know that was like when I found out everything too. I was like, because my good friend at the time, she like sent me a screenshot. She's like, hey, I have to like tell you this because I have actual like screenshots of their text messages, and she's like, oh, like, you fucked me so hard that my ass is bruised, like I can't even sit on a toilet seat. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I ain't got no bruises. Like, not that I wanted any, but you know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
What's going on?
But oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so
fuck.
I mean, other than that, like, after him,
but see, they do come back.
Like, honestly,
I was on the houseboat 3 a.m. You up?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
No way. Like,
you up?
It's like, it comes in, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
And at first I didn't know the number, and then they replied, and I was like, that's kind of what I thought.
Damn, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I remember being so, like, yeah, sad about, like, any, like, not every guy, but, like, there was a couple guys, you know, that I was, like, really into, and whether it be, like, a year or, like, 5 months, you know, they always have come back and been like, hey, or, like, you know, so it's funny in that way.
Proves.
Yeah.
They got a little upset. They let us go.
Yeah.
They fucked up. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Like
Q&As. Also, we're gonna end all of our podcasts with like Q&As or stuff like that, or funny stories. So if you want to send us anonymously, or it doesn't have to be anonymous, we're not going to say your name or anything like that, but you can send anonymously funny stories. And so we talked about sex this one. You can send your funny virginity stories or funny sex stories, stuff like that. Worst dates. Send them in for us to read next time, or ask us questions, because we're going to answer a couple questions at the end of each episode. All right, so first question. Have you had a long distance relationship?
yes.
Excuse me. Yes.
You almost threw up in your mouth.
Yeah. I have had one, and it's, at first I was like, this is gonna work, because I thought that's who I wanted to be with, and I thought I was moving back home. I was just gonna stay here for a year. It just didn't work out, because one, I was literally every day begging for him to come visit me, and he worked a good job. Like, he could easily have fucking afforded to fly to Vancouver and fucking see me, and he just didn't put any effort in. And he came one time and just hung out with his friend the whole time, like, and when he was here, we ended up fighting, and it just, like, it was just shit. There's not much to it, because I was literally the only one putting in effort. And so my long distance relationship did not work out at all. And now when I look back, I'm so mad. I'm like, I should have just broke up with you when I was leaving to move here, because I wasted a fucking year here when I could have been out single, having fun, getting to know people, partying it up and having a good time. And I wasn't doing anything. And he's like, I think you're cheating on me, all this stuff. And I was like, look, if I wanted to cheat on you, there's multiple times where I could have, and I haven't. But if you don't want me to cheat on you, maybe you should fucking come and visit me, so I am not sex deprived.
So my long distance relationship is an interesting one. So previously to COVID, we did a little trip to LA, and I met a guy there, although it was like nothing. Like, we met, we never kept in contact, and then randomly, like a year and a bit after, he reached out to me, and so we like started having this like long distance relationship fling. Like, we had plans to like go see each other. I was gonna go there, he was gonna come to Canada for the first time, and then COVID happened. So I sent out my passport just before COVID, and so I'm like, fuck, I paid for this thing, like, I can't go. He had plane tickets to come here. He surprised me, and then he was like, oh, I didn't know like felons can't come into Canada. Like, fucking idiot.
I didn't know felons can't fly.
Yeah, I was like, what did you do? Like, I still to this day have like no idea what he did. And so anyways, we talked for quite a bit. Like, it was kind of serious, you know, like, he was like, I love you, all this stuff, and we like FaceTimed all the time, and like we actually got really close, like really quick. And then like a week before my birthday, I don't know, I was kind of like crazy, because we lived in like different countries, and so I was like, you know, like seeing who he followed, and he lived this like really like lavish lifestyle. Like, he was like always in like big houses and fancy cars and like stuff, like
girls around.
And so anyways, I did end up finding like him comment on like other girls' photos, and like I didn't really say anything, and then I eventually did, and he was like, no, you're crazy, like, I have girlfriends, like, whatever. It's obviously hard to keep tabs on someone that like lives, you know, and
so far away.
Yeah, so far away. And so he never ended up coming to Canada. I never ended up going and seeing him, and like a week before my birthday, he just like ghosted me. And so I was like, I texted him back, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just called him out, and he was like, babe, like, I was sleeping. And I was like, for the last 5 days.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, for the last 5 days. And he was like, babe, chill out, calm down. And like,
I was sleeping for 5 days.
Literally, it was so fucked up. And then so like, honestly, like, we never talked again. And like, he blocked me on Instagram, but like, I had a second Instagram like for my work at the time, and I like creeped his thing, and he was like dating this girl that he like was like commenting on her photos. And so I was like, like, I should have known. And to this day, they're still together. He literally posted like happy 1 year like October 19th or 20th, and so that's like 3 days after my birthday.
So
like
he was seeing
like,
her and you at this like the same time.
He was like
For
seeing
sure.
her and me at the exact same time. And now that like I have seen like where he's been living, I was like, oh my god, he posted watching movies at that house like when we were talking, and so it's just so. But like I don't know, I
so
didn't
it was
know.
her the whole. He was like with
her the whole time, yeah. And so like, anyways, the one day I'm in my relationship now. He actually reached out to me, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I get this text from like an 818 number, and I'm like, wait, that's Los Angeles. I'm driving to my hair appointment, and he texts me this thing like, oh, I miss you, I hope school is going well, like, I don't know, like, I actually still have the screenshots, funny enough, and so didn't say anything like back to him, totally ignored him, and then like maybe a month passes by and I get another text from an 818 number, and it's this like huge long paragraph, and my boyfriend ended up seeing it, and I was like, oh, that's like my ex, and he knew about this guy. Like I had just met my boyfriend a couple months after I like ended it with this guy, or he ended it with me, and so like he was like still kind of like a topic of like conversation. And so he like reached out to me and was like telling me he loves me and all this stuff, blocked his number. He reached out to me on a different number. He's like, I know that you're blocking me, I don't deserve this is so fucked up. He was playing this like whole victim thing, like
after he told you he was sleeping for a week.
Yeah, I was like, you're fucked. And like honestly, he like smoked a lot of weed and like drank a lot of lean, and so like I don't know, he had his own issues, and so like whatever, who cares. But yeah, he like just was texting me like literally like long ass paragraphs like, I miss you so much, I miss what we had, like, and I go onto his Instagram and he's like still with this girl, and so like I had enough. I was like, after probably the 6th or 7th time he reached out to me, I straight up told him like, if you do not stop, I will tell your girlfriend. And I like he did message me one more time after that on Instagram and was like, I'm sorry, this is like my last goodbye, like I hope one day like we can work things out, yada yada. And so I've never heard from him since. He's still with the girl, like it's comical. But yeah, that was like my long distance. But yeah,
it's so hard to make long distance work. Men who tell you what to wear, it's not happening.
I don't have that.
It's not happening.
Like I just don't have that. Like I mean,
no, me neither.
Backtrack to my high school boyfriend. The one time it ever happened, I wore this dress for like my 18th birthday, and I guess I told him I was gonna wear like spandex under my dress or something. And when he found out I wasn't, he flipped. Like he like stormed off. Like we had this like party bus, and he just like was trying to ruin my day. And I was like, like even some of the guys were like, bro, seriously, just because she's not wearing like spandex under her dress, like it was like seriously so long ago. So dresses weren't even like skin tight back then. Like it was not even anything to worry about. But like my boyfriend now, he's like, damn, you look hot. Like
yeah, exactly.
You know, I think he's just like confident in himself, and like we're together. You know what I mean? Like
well, that's the thing. Like if you know, like even like what I do for work, like he knows that he's like, I don't care, like I'm the one who like lives with you and gets to be with
touch
you,
and like yeah, that's like yours.
These people just see me on the internet, like they're not here. And yeah, exactly. I could not, if I could never, it wouldn't work. If,
no.
Like if I started seeing someone and I went to go out and I was like looking real good and they're like, oh, you can't wear that, I'd be like, okay, that's that right now, because I'm about to wear this. So
yeah, no.
Now I'm single, I'm going out single.
No,
but
yeah. I feel like too, like me and Janelle are both very, what's the word? Dominant women.
Yeah.
It just, we don't let that shit happen.
No.
Like, we just, that shit does not fly here. Like,
well, and it's not normal. Like that's a red flag. That is a red flag.
Yeah.
That is so fucking controlling. Like you're your own fucking person. If I want to go out in a little lingerie thing and some jeans, then I'm gonna fucking do that. Like that's so controlling, and it's just, it shouldn't even matter. Like that's such a weird thing. And like I know so many guys, even guys that I'm friends with or used to be friends with, obviously I was just their friend so I didn't care, but like the girls they were with, they were weird like that, and like they were controlling, and that's just like not gonna fucking fly. And that's like where you get relationship issues from, and just like the whole thing, that's a fucking
toxic.
red flag.
It's like
that's
a red toxic flag.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, fuck that. No.
I feel like I'm pretty fortunate to say that, like, yeah, I'm just like not. I bet my mom also is just like a woman that like it does not let shit fly. Like she would never let someone treat her like that or tell her what to do. So it's just like I get that's where I get it from. And so like I'm glad that I've never had to be with someone that's like so controlling like that. Like I just
yeah.
No,
it's yeah, no way. And also it's not like we dress, I don't know, like we don't dress bad. I got my boobs done and I paid 10 fucking grand for them. So guess what? I'm gonna wear some little titty shirts and crop tops, okay?
I was gonna say, if I had mine done, like there's certain shirts that just like don't fit me. But if I had the tits, of course I would.
And yeah, I can't even.
I think at the end of the day though, it's like I'm still respective. Like I respect my body, and it's like that my boyfriend knows that, and so like that's why he's okay with that.
I'm not like have respect for yourself.
Yeah, I'm not purposely wearing.
Some people would question that about me, but I do.
Yeah, and so it's like I feel like that's why he's just like I'm not wearing these things intentionally to like get attention from another male. That's not.
Yeah, we wear them because we're like, oh, I look good in this. I feel look good, feel good. And so if other people think I look good outside, great, but it's like I'm not putting this on and being like, oh, I hope I get a bunch of male attention tonight.
No,
like I'm putting this on because I just want to look good and feel good, and I'm going out.
Exactly.
And we like to dress up. Like that's one thing we have in common. When we go out, like we're dressing up. We're looking good.
If your man's not your hype man, red flag.
Get rid of him.
Get
rid of him. Well, shit. I think
that wraps up today.
First episode of Blondes Have More Fun.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
We'll be here every Saturday because Saturdays are for the girls.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, make sure to follow us on all of our social media. Obviously, Jordana and I, we have our own Instagram, but the podcast also has its own Instagram, so make sure you go follow the podcast. We'll link everything down below for you guys. And make sure to like this video and please subscribe because obviously that helps us out. So I think that's it, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.